Tomorrow gets it to White. White releases another three, and Milford absolutely scorching hot. Tamani feeling it now. That's his third three-pointer now. This has been a strong commitment to defense for the Hawks through this first half. And Kelly able to tip it in at the buzzer. The steal, Pasquette gets it back, tries to bank it off the glass and gets it in. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside the gymnasium at Milford High School as Milford TV is once again happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. This is Tim Coet on the call as we get set for another Friday night showdown here in the Milford gym. The Scarlet Hawks boys basketball team back after a two-game road trip. They come into this matchup tonight 3-5 overall on the season, just 2-3 within league play, and they will take on one of their Davenport Division opponents tonight in the North Attleboro Rocketeers. For Milford, they're continuing to look to find some consistency on the season as they get deeper into this regular season. They've lost now 2 games in a row. They lost both of those games away from Milford High School. Back on last Friday, they ended up losing a close one against Davenport Division foe Foxborough by a final score of 49-41, and then an even more disappointing loss this past Tuesday on the road against Mansfield. Milford led at the half. They led by 3 points going into the fourth quarter, but Mansfield was able to score 26 points over those final 8 minutes to end up with the victory 62-53 over Milford. So Milford really letting that one get away in the end. So looking to play a more consistent game, a 4-quarter effort as they come into play here tonight against North Attleboro. It's their first meeting against the Rocketeers this season. North Attleboro, as we mentioned, comes in with that record of 4-3. They ended up having a 4-game winning streak after 2 straight losses to open the season, but that winning streak was snapped in their most recent game. That was a 68-50 loss to the red-hot Attleboro Bombardiers. So North looking to get back on the winning path, as is Milford. This has been a matchup in recent seasons that has gone in Milford's favor. They've won 4 out of the last 6 matchups against the Rocketeers, including sweeping the season series last season, including a game late in the season in which Milford absolutely dominated. They got out to a 20-4 lead in that game and ended up walking away with a 58-36 rout victory. So hoping to conjure up some of that luck again here tonight. It is a rowdy crowd as always on a Friday night. The DJ is in the house, so it should be loud, it should be exciting, it should be a fun one here tonight. Milford taking on North Attleboro, and we will have the opening tip right after this here on Milford TV. Right back inside a very loud Milford gymnasium as we get you set for basketball tonight. Milford taking on North Attleboro. Very quickly, let's bring you the starting 5s for tonight's game. First for North Attleboro, it is Josh Montague, Nate Gonsalves, Ethan Freiberg, George Ladd, and Jake Peterson. And for the Scarlet Hawks, it is Brendan White, Brendan Saylor, Colby Perez, Jordan Darling, and Dom Schofield. And right now I welcome in my broadcast partner for tonight's game back from Suffolk University, Neelan Reisman, joining me tonight. Neelan, happy to have you back with us, and you chose a great night to come back. An excellent rivalry here in the gym tonight. Yeah, it's good to be back, Tim. I definitely got to say it's been almost a year, and a lot has changed. DJ has kind of surprised me, and the mascot even more. It certainly adds to the atmosphere that is always at a 10 on Friday nights here in the Milford gym. And with that basketball underway, North Attleboro controlling the tip. Cheerleaders from both schools represented, so things getting very loud. And Milford flying around defensively, the feed down low, and timing the jump perfectly was Jake Peterson to grab the first bucket of the night. Brendan Saylor now taking Milford up the floor for the first time. This standard starting 5 that we've seen quite a lot so far this season. Pierre has a great look from outside, but it just wouldn't go. Still in the opening minute of play as they feed it into Peterson again, this time too strong on the jumper, and the rebound controlled by the Hawks. Saylor finds Schofield on the perimeter. Now it's Darling. Sees no lane to the basket, so kicks it back out. Perez nothing doing on the outside. Now Darling gets his shot attempt swatted away, and good presence down low early on from North. Now driving inside, and Milford's able to draw the charge. It's Jordan Darling who gets it done.
Good defensive IQ right there by Darling, able to keep his hands up.
Saylor lets it roll nearly to midcourt. Still just a 2-0 margin as they try to find White cutting to the basket, but the bounce pass gets intercepted. This has been the scouting report on North Attleboro. They have been very good defensively, particularly in the low post. They have good size. They're one of the lengthiest teams in the Hawk this season, so that's something Milford's going to have to be aware of all night long. And now knocking down the shot from long range is number 15, Nate Gonsalves, and it's an early 5-0 run for the Rocketeers to open the night.
Starting their offensive presence off early though, Tim.
Good athleticism from Darling, kept changing directions and eventually was able to weave his way in for the first Milford points. That halts the road team's momentum for now, but this already has to be a confidence boost for the Rocketeers. They came into this Milford gym last season and the Hawks blew them out in the first half. That game was 20-4 midway through the second quarter, and it was really a laugher from there. So a much different start to this one with North coming out strong offensively.
Both matchups in that last year's series kept North Attleboro at a 36 points per game average.
It was outstanding defensive work from Milford. Their good work offensively from the senior captain, Brendan White, getting his first bucket, and all of a sudden now it's a 1-point margin. Milford putting pressure on in the backcourt, North able to advance. Now the pass intercepted by Saylor, a behind the back dribble, nearly loses it and is able to corral it back in, but now blanketed defensively by Gonsalves, able to get the pass up to Brendan White. White just lowers the shoulder, burrows his way inside and gets two.
Gonsalves trying to make a transition and coast to coast as he gets the easy layup.
A quick answer after Milford had come out with a 6-0 run to counter the 5-0 North run. And now White gets knocked down, loses the basketball.
A little bit of a forced shot. And Gonsalves is going to have a wide open three-pointer, misses it off the back right corner.
Too easy that time for Nate Gonsalves, left wide open, but fortunately for Milford, the miss. And now a short rim shot from Brendan Saylor. Perez cleans up the rebound, and they'll count it from three-point range.
Way to keep your eyes on the ball, able to get that offensive rebound in a quick release.
And a bad inbounds pass. Jordan Darling says thank you very much. Darling with an early 6 points in this first quarter. An 11-7 Hawks lead now as we play at a lightning pace. Already 4 minutes down in this first quarter. Darling gets met by a couple of defenders and he gets fouled.
And they're going to call a blocking foul. Josh Montague is going to get the call.
It's already Montague's second foul.
Adam Falcone's going to step into the game for him.
Josh Montague, the leading scorer on this team from last season. He's the focal point of their offense, so in early foul trouble, that could be a huge turning point in this game.
Matt Seavey's going to step in the game for George Ladd. And this quick inbounds press by Milford causing a little bit of havoc early on. Pressure is causing some stress. North Attleboro as another turnover is almost caused.
Nearly picked off. This time North able to recover. Now they can maybe get numbers up the floor, but Milford too fast. They're able to get back and set. Now the release from three. It looked offline, but it ends up landing for Ethan Freiberg, his first bucket, and that cuts it back down to a one-possession game, so a lot of momentum swings already, and we're not even done with the first quarter.
North Attleboro in a 2-3 zone.
The pass to nowhere from Saylor, an easy interception. And a lot of turnovers here on both sides. Teams taking chances. This has been one of the better rivalries for Milford on the basketball court since they came into the Hawk, especially now that these teams play each other twice a year.
Gonsalves going to airball a three-point shot. White with a three-point shot of his own, and that short rims.
So a couple of misses. on either side of the floor, and it stays a 13-10 score with 2:52 to play. Now out of the near corner, bounce pass entry in to Peterson, but his shot again hits the back of the rim. Now here's Perez. Bounce pass into White, hesitates, just could not land the layup. Tried to time that jump, seemed to hang there in midair, but could not get it to fall. Schofield on the other end, able to hang on to that basketball and walks the tightrope on the sideline. Ball deflected out of play. Saylor's going to get a rest here. And into the game now, Matt Vardaresian.
Danny Corsini's going to step into the game for Kobe Paras.
So Coach Seaver now going to his bench for these final 2+ minutes. Corsini's been a revelation off the bench for this team. He's become one of their leading scorers. Here's Schofield attacking the rim. The shot doesn't fall.
Dribbled himself into a 3-on-1.
Under 2 minutes now in the first quarter. Vardaresian with a big height differential there against his man. Now back out from 3-point range. And good for Freiberg, who's knocked down 2 shots in this first quarter. They've both been from 3-point range, and we're now tied up again at 13. Milford's been scoring at a slightly better clip than North Attleboro through the early going of the season. Defensively, the teams have been almost identical. White thought about it from 3. Now splits a couple of defenders. Back out for Darling from 3 off the back of the rim. Rebound goes to White. And White gets the pass out to Schofield. A little bit out of Schofield's normal range. And we tick down to a minute to play. Falcone giving way to Nate Gonsalves, who is the target of choice right now from the Milford student section. Here's Peterson. That pass barely makes its way to Gonsalves. Now back outside, another 3, count it, for Ethan Freiberg, who is red hot right now from behind the line. Up to 9 points with 40 seconds to go in the first. Puts the Rocketeers up by 3. Schofield the lob, nice pass to Corsini, just offline. What a quick pass from Vardaresian.
North Attleboro is going to hold for this last shot.
It's 15 seconds to go.
Falcone getting the pick. Freiberg.
Trying to ride the hot hand with Freiberg. He now rifles the pass inside, gets it to Matt Seavey, who gets the bucket. 4 seconds left for Milford. They get it ahead to Corsini. He releases the shot. It's over everything. And that will conclude things here. What a terrific pace to this first quarter. Twists and turns for both teams, but North able to go on a bit of a run there at the end to erase the Milford lead and ultimately carry an 18-13 lead after these first 8 minutes. You don't want to go anywhere. A lot more action to come here in this first half. It'll come right after this quick break here on Milford TV. Set for second quarter action here in Milford, and Nealon, just an outstanding pace to that opening 8 minutes.
Yeah, a lot of turnovers, but it was very fast transition. Both teams looking for 3-point reliability. North Attleboro relying on Ethan Freiberg, getting them 9 points, 3 for 3 from the 3-point line. And it seems like that's going to be an offensive foul. Adam Falcone going to be picking it up for North Attleboro. And Brendan Saylor is going to be checking back in the game for Matt Vardaresian.
Got a rest over those final 2 minutes in the first quarter. Still an 18-13 score into the second quarter now as Saylor barks out instructions and now lobs the pass to White. White blanketed once again by Gonsalves. They try to spring him free in the far corner. Now he drives baseline, but can't get the reverse lay-in to go. Now a long pass up the floor as again North looks to get those outside shooters some space. Now underneath the rim, it was Seavey who had his shot partially blocked on the way up. Ball ends up deflecting out of play. It stays with North, a fresh shot clock. And then the pass right into Seavey. Too easy off the inbounds.
Leaving a nice gap in the middle. Ben Blanchard and Steve Sutherland standing by the scorer's table.
Out to White now, a good look from 3. Off the side of the rim, White has 4 points so far on the night. Up to a 7-point North Attleboro lead. They look to have Milford a bit back on their heels all of a sudden. And the turnover for North Attleboro allows Milford to get their subs in. So Ben Blanchard out on the floor. Steve Sutherland, the captain, the first time we've seen him tonight. Right now, Schofield, Perez, and Brendan White all on the bench.
Seaver tapping a little bit more into his bench. Milford swinging the ball around, and
Saylor, a contested shot, had 2 defenders in his face.
Able to set his feet perfectly.
And you wonder if the sit down at the end of that first quarter helped him clear his head. He had no points through that first 8 minutes, now knocks down a tough shot. Cuts it down to a 4-point deficit for the Hawks, who now pressure on the ball once again. Now the ball up for grabs. Saylor flies in for the loose ball. Now ahead to Corsini.
Corsini's going to get fouled. Good take. Seems like he might have gotten hacked a little bit on the arm.
Aggressive to the rim. Tried to float that shot in. It didn't go, but he'll have a chance for 2.
Corsini's going to miss the first free throw. Some substitutions coming in for North Attleboro.
Corsini averaging 9.1 points per game. And that's been off the bench. He has not seen starting minutes in any of the games that we have witnessed. But that 9.1 points per game is 3rd highest on the team behind Brendan White at 16.3 and Saylor at 10.3.
Sometimes you just have better performances off the bench. And Seaver can look towards Corsini to be a very impactful player.
Thought about the 3 there. Now tries to weave the pass into Darling. Bad idea. Now here's Montague back on the floor after sitting with the 2 fouls. Team was able to get it done in his absence. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Darling falls down, no whistle. Sticks that hand in there to try to defend. Milford ultimately called for the foul. Saylor getting called for that foul. It's his first.
And North Attleboro finding good gap in between the left and right side.
That was Freiberg again, now up to 11 points in the half.
Defeating the zone on inbounds plays.
Here's Corsini. Hasn't quite found his distance yet from 3-point range. Saylor unleashes.
And they're going to find a nice outlet pass and almost an and one.
Sutherland in there trying to get the block.
George Ladd's going to be taking 2 shots. Pires, Vardaresian, and White getting ready to check into the game.
So they called the foul on Brendan Saylor, so that's 2 quick fouls now for the Milford point guard, and that's going to force him back to the bench. Looks initially like that foul may go on Sutherland, but they ended up calling the contact down low on Saylor.
Corsini and Darling will also be on the bench as well.
And the make on the second shot for Ladd. Up to a 6-point lead now.
Vardaresian misses the 3. White trying to put it up.
Was able to get the rebound, fighting multiple defenders, and now gets his shot attempt swatted away. And a little extra attention after from Jake Peterson, who stared White down.
Peterson with back-to-back blocks. White trying to take it in twice on him, and a 2-on-1 offensive shot is not the best option.
Blanchard in some trouble. Vardaresian bails him out. Now again, Vardaresian from 3. High arcing shot lands for Vardaresian.
And Seaver's going to take a timeout for the Hawks.
Sends them into the timeout, down by just 3 points. 4 minutes and 18 seconds to go. And so again, we're seeing just that momentum seesaw back and forth, but right now it looks as though North Attleboro has the upper hand, Neil, and they've been able to maintain this lead now since 2 minutes left in the first quarter.
Now what they're doing is they're beating Milford off of inbound passes and fast corner-to-corner offensive tempo. They look to swing the ball around, hoping to get a wide-open three-point shot in the corner, and if that won't work out, they'll either look down in the post or drive to the basket. They're doing a very good job beating Milford Hawks players' baseline and finding gaps in between the zone. And that zone right now for Seaver isn't really working the way that he wants it to go. You can notice the slowage of turnovers on North Attleboro's side and the pressure that they're receiving, trapping Milford players on the wing. And I think a lot of adjustments for North Attleboro, and Milford's trying to kind of stay in the same game plan. Maybe this timeout's kind of try to figure out how to control their tempo and make sure that North Attleboro is slowed down.
So they come back out of the timeout with White, Vardaresian, Blanchard, Perez, and Sutherland. North Attleboro with the ball and the lead, up 23-20. Just over 4 minutes to play until halftime. As Freiberg now tries to float it in, no good. Sutherland with the rebound, but a little too strong on the pass attempt out to Blanchard. It goes out of play, and we'll go right back to the Rocketeers.
Gonzalez inbounding.
Loops it into George Ladd, and then back into the hands of the point guard, Montague. Pira's able to stand strong in there, now guarding against Ladd. They have to send it back out to Freiberg, and now they swing it around into the near wing. 12 seconds left on the shot clock. And then the foul. Chance for a three-point play for Jake Peterson. So again, a lot of options out on the floor for North Attleboro. Milford has to respect the outside shooting based on what they've been able to do in this first half, and the size matchup in the paint has been a real problem. So Peterson can't complete the three-point play. It's back up to a 5-point North Attleboro lead. And they're able to get White open. The shot no good. Blanchard gets the rebound, now kicks it back out to Perez. Almost has it taken away. Blanchard and Perez continue to go back and forth. They can't get anything open.
Doing a very good job pressuring the wings.
White out to Blanchard, a deep three off the side of the rim. And the whistle goes against the Hawks.
And that's going to be an over-the-back foul on Steve Sutherland, as Dom Schofield's going to be stepping in. That's 2 quick fouls on Sutherland. (25-20), just under 3 minutes left.
Certainly with the size advantage that North already has, Milford can't afford to have any of their big men in real foul trouble, but Sutherland with 2 fouls, Schofield back out there now. Blanchard able to save that pass before he went tumbling out of play, and Perez with the 3, no good. Perez, just the 1 shot made so far in the half.
It's been a very slow offensive game for the Hawks in the second quarter.
Now the longer range shot this time for Peterson goes partway down and then back out, still a 5-point margin. Milford perhaps fortunate the lead is still manageable for North Attleboro. Now the missed layup an easy one on the other side of the floor. But for North Attleboro, Nate Gonsalves able to clean it up. Oh, now Vardaresian has it just taken away by Adam Falcone, and right now all the momentum is with North Attleboro. Blanchard trying to do everything he can under the basket, but he stepped out of bounds trying to pick off that pass.
A little bit of a careless turnover right there by Vardaresian. Puts North Attleboro under the basket for an inbounds play.
Milford's depth at the point guard position is certainly more thin this season than what we've seen in the past. It's put a lot of pressure on Brendan Saylor to stay out there. Blanchard's three-point attempt blocked. Schofield able to save it. Now here's White, who misses badly. White's having a tough shooting night here, at least so far in this first half.
And the ref's going to take a timeout for himself.
Clock stopped at 1:19 to play in the half. Shot clock at 16. And Corsini will inbound in front of the North Attleboro bench. Drops it into Brendan Saylor. Continue to go to Blanchard, who has no space, losing the height battle to his man George Ladd. Shot clock almost gone. White's going to have to put it up. Highly contested, able to get some rim, now tries to burrow his way back inside. Schofield comes in to help, and Schofield gets the layup.
Physicality right there for the Milford Scarlet Hawks, able to body out North Attleboro and just put it up right on the block.
Less than a minute to go. Milford almost getting the turnover, but the officials calling the foul. Coach Seaver absolutely hates it.
I think I got to agree with Seaver right there. That looked like a clean pickpocket by Saylor. And that's going to be his third foul of the half.
So the fouls on Saylor are really going to be the story of this game. He has to go back to the bench. Vardaresian back out on the floor for these final 43 seconds.
He's a key guard for the Scarlet Hawks. You could see the change when he's not on the court. And fouls are going to be critical.
.33 seconds to go, 20 seconds on the shot clock for North. Pressure defensively for White, and the offensive foul. There's Blanchard under the basket, making something happen defensively. And this will give Milford the chance perhaps to play for the final shot with 28.7 seconds left. Inbounds to Vardaresian.
Milford looking to take the last shot, swinging it around the ring.
Corsini doesn't see anything. Dangerous pass cross court from Blanchard. Now Vardaresian gets it back. He tosses up the shot and makes it from the free throw line. And that'll be that. No chance for North Attleboro to counter. So Vardaresian ends up with the final bucket. It brings us to a 27-24 score. And so a lot went wrong for the Scarlet Hawks in that period, Nealon, but as I had said a few moments ago, I think they're fortunate to have the score where it is, a very manageable score heading into the second half.
I don't think they have the energy on their side right now, but definitely the way that they closed out the second quarter, it is in their favor. This locker room in this halftime is going to tell a lot about who comes out and who wants to play harder. It's a close game for both teams. It's anybody's game.
So 27-24, a one-possession game as we reach halftime. We will pause for a moment, and we'll have the start of the third quarter next. Stay tuned to coverage of Milford High School athletics right here on Milford TV. And once again, we welcome you back inside the Milford gym. Time to get the second half started between the Scarlet Hawks and the visiting North Attleboro Rocketeers. North with a 27-24 lead. Tim Coet and Nealon Reisman here with the call on this Friday night. Your scoring leaders in this game, it was Ethan Freiberg, thanks in large part to 9 points in the closing minutes of the first quarter, leading the North Attleboro attack. On the Milford side, it is Jordan Darling leading scorers with 6 points. Milford controlling the ball to start this second half. Brendan White looking to get it going here in the second half, and a nice start.
And if there's anything that's going to give Milford the ledge, it's going to need to be some more offensive ability by Brendan White. The first half he was very cold shooting, especially from the perimeter. And starting off 1 for 1 in the second half is...
And certainly another factor to be aware of in the second half. As a reminder, we'll get to it in a moment. White with the steal. He goes coast to coast and uncontested gets the layup. So talk about Brendan White heating up 4 quick points in the first minute of this third quarter. And that gives Milford a 28-27 lead. But the other factor is Brendan Saylor, who is out there on the floor right now with 3 fouls. You could see giving Josh Montague a little extra space, and Montague gets the shot. That's just his first points of the night. He also had foul trouble in the first half.
It's not a night for point guards.
I believe they have 5 combined fouls as this third quarter gets started. White putting that hot start to the test here in the third quarter, misses from 3. And the easy rebound for North. Here's Montague, creates some space for himself, and now he has 4 points. So the point guards taking control here in the early going of the second half.
Good stutter step fader.
Corsini can't spring loose. Blanchard back out there. High arcing 3, and he nails it. That scraped the rooftop.
Range is not a problem right there for Blanchard.
Knots things up at 31. And now Darling knocking that pass loose momentarily. North recovers. Now here's Gonsalves. Tough feed for Peterson, and Milford ends up with possession. White a quick pass into Darling. Now Blanchard again, this time too short.
Moonshot's not going to work right there.
Now it's Montague. He splits the defense, can't finish. Freiberg flies in for the rebound and has it knocked away. It stays with North, just a second off the shot clock.
Ladd's going to get taken out for Seavey.
They tried to feed it in quickly off the inbounds pass. It ends up deflecting right to Seavey, who gets the bucket.
Inbounds defense is not one of the strong points for Milford tonight.
Swings the lead back in North Attleboro's favor, 33-31. And Nealon, you talked about it. Milford was able to hold North Attleboro to 36 points in each of their matchups last season. That is not going to be the case again this year. Blanchard again trying for long range. And 1 out of 3 in those 3-point attempts so far in this third quarter.
And if you can make them, Seaver's not going to be a little bit temperate, but going 0 for 2 in those last 2 shots might cause a little bit of problems.
They feed him again, this time on the near side. Now it's Corsini. Couldn't get quite a clean handle on the basketball, so passes up the shot. 15 seconds on the shot clock. It's Saylor now from 3, count it. Six points now in the game for Brendan Saylor and a 1-point lead for the Hawks.
Seavey trying to body up Blanchard. He's going to do a turnaround fadeaway, and he hits it.
Gets it to rattle through. Seavey 4 points in this third quarter. Corsini tries to answer fast. North has definitely had the edge in 3-point shooting in this game.
Coach Mulkerin's trying to tell North Attleboro to slow down.
Montague sends it back out to Gonsalves. Now Seavey, who's been dangerous, tries to use that height advantage over Brendan White. Does not work that time. White bounces off the contact but cannot land the shot. Now here's Gonsalves with good speed. Milford able to get a couple of bodies back, but Gonsalves just too tough.
Slithers his way through 2 defenders and has a nice right-hand finish. And I think Gonzalez is going to get called for a foul.
And immediately Coach Mulkerins pulls him to the bench. It's a one-possession game at 37-34, 3:16 to play. This game has been absolutely flying by. Perez back out on the floor. Perez cuts inside. Can't get the shot to fall. Darling picks up the defensive rebound. Now here's Saylor up and under and gets it.
Milford's going to call a timeout, and well needed.
They call it after the Saylor bucket that cuts it to a one-point game, 37-36. North Attleboro with the advantage. We will take the timeout as well. Just 2:57 remains in this third quarter. Stay with us on Milford TV. Coming back out of the timeout, Milford continues to play with White, Saylor, Blanchard, Perez, and Darling. A pretty small lineup out there, Nealon, to combat this lengthy North Attleboro team.
And it depends on Seaver's gameplay. Maybe the size equals speed. If you have shorter players on the court, they might be more elusive on defense.
Blanchard open from three-point range again. That one looked good, but just short. Now Montague with all kinds of speed, but loses the basketball, able to get it back. Emerges. Still 18 seconds on the shot clock. Freiberg has been quiet since that run in the first quarter. Montague able to get the three.
40-36, 2.5 minutes left to go.
Montague's raked in 7 points in this third quarter. Here's Darling, surprised by the lane to the basket, but it quickly closes in the end. And I believe that was Seavey with the block.
Seavey doing a good job making sure not to give up on that play.
He's a physical player. Now Perez sends it back outside. Saylor from the near wing, no good. Perez had the rebound, able to guide it to White. And White now to Darling. Little jumper, no good. And North Attleboro with the ball, up by 4 with under 2 minutes to go in the third. A big divisional matchup here. These two teams in a tie for second place, along with Foxborough and Stoughton. Seavey now up to 6 points in this third quarter. It's been Seavey and Montague that have been driving this offense. And a 6-point lead now. Another chance for the sophomore. Ben Blanchard getting it done.
2 for 4 from his, I'd say, moon shots. Taking it from the moon.
Well behind the three-point line. It's certainly been style points for Blanchard. He knocks down a big one there to cut it to a 42-39 score.
You can tell he's comfortable from there. That is his shot.
And as we've talked about, Milford has been very inconsistent, really not just in this game. The three-point shooting has not been there on a consistent basis throughout the early going of the season for Milford. Maybe Blanchard getting more playing time. Certainly last week he saw a fair share of playing time on the road in Mansfield, starting to settle into a bigger role with this team and can provide some more consistency from outside. It's been the bench players that have provided a lot of the outside shooting for Milford, between Blanchard and also the shooting of Danny Corsini. But meanwhile, Colby Perez says, I'm a starter on this team and I can knock down threes as well. Ties this game up at 42. Now Saylor in a scrum for the loose ball. And the North Attleboro coaching staff calling the timeout to save possession for the Rocketeers. We are tied up, Milford 42, North Attleboro 42, 52.7 seconds left in the third quarter. This has been a sensational game, still a lot left, and we'll have more to come right after this on Milford TV. Back to action as North Attleboro sends the ball back in play. Tim Coet and Nealon Reisman with you. Coming down to the end of the third quarter between Milford and North Attleboro. All kinds of pressure in the backcourt for the Scarlet Hawks. And eventually the foul is called. And again, Coach Seaver voicing his disagreement with the officials.
North Attleboro getting bailed out of a 10-second violation call right there.
They call the foul on Ben Blanchard. It's his first foul. Fresh shot clock for the Rocketeers with 39 seconds to go in the third quarter. Back out to Montague. He's been one of the hot hands for the Rocketeers.
Good ball movement, finding a wide open corner
Ladd
three.
absolutely wide open, but misses the shot. Lucky for Milford, who now has the opportunity to play for the final shot in a tied game here in the third quarter. An early release for Brendan White. It rims out, and now it's North Attleboro who has the chance to take the lead with 10 seconds. Montague takes his time, gives way to Ladd. Saylor falls down, no call. Now back to Montague on the far wing, and his shot is no good. So neither side can put one in the closing seconds. So we will head into the fourth quarter with a tied score, 42 all. And you can't say enough about the quality of play from both of these teams through 3 periods of play, Nealon.
That was a very competitive third quarter. Milford coming out of the locker room, I said it, a lot of energy changes, but it seemed like it was more in Milford's favor, able to find the three-point line a little bit more than they have in the past. I definitely say that their size disadvantage has played a little bit of a part in tying this game and not being able to take the lead. CV able to body out and look for a nice hook shot or push the guy out of the way for some inside ball movement. It's definitely going to be close. I'd say this goes down right to the wire.
It's been a clean second half, too. You look at the fouls on the board right now, just 1 for the Hawks, 2 for North Attleboro. Free throw shooting has really not been a factor in this game. Milford has shot 3 out of 4. North Attleboro has shot 1 out of 3. So this game's been played on the floor. We have not seen many trips to the line on either side. We'll see if that changes here over the final 8 minutes.
And with no free throw appearances and no fouls, it's a quicker game.
It certainly has been. Just 8 minutes to go. Milford back out on the floor. And right now it is White and Saylor with Blanchard, Perez, and Darling. This is the group Coach Seaver has liked. Gonsalves a long 3, no good. Darling sends it back into play. And he's able to deflect it off of North Attleboro and out. He must have gotten a piece of George Ladd as that deflected back out. Josh Montague waiting for Brendan Saylor at midcourt. Now Perez looking for White. White back out for Blanchard. Another long-range 3, another close call.
Steve Sutherland getting ready to be checked in. Gonsalves to Montague. Swings it back over to Ladd.
Cross-court pass. Now it's Ladd. Baseline back out to Gonsalves. Look to be open. Gives the extra pass back to Montague. Now Ladd surprised. He couldn't handle it. Now Saylor in transition takes it all the way in, but could not get the finish. And shows the referee his arm afterwards. Was surprised he didn't get the foul called. Still 42-42 with 6:44 to play. Ladd again gets that pass knocked loose, but Peterson there. And now the offensive foul. Once again, it's Darling, who's all kinds of pumped up afterwards.
3 charges today for Milford. And if there's one thing that Milford strives and prides in, it is taking charges.
Saylor will get a rest here with 6.5 minutes to play. Vardaresian back out on the floor. Knocked down a big shot right before the half after scuffling a bit. Steve Sutherland also out there. He shoots the 3, no good, but Perez is there with the putback.
Right place, right time. Good little bounce off the rim.
It's the first bucket of this fourth quarter for either side. Just a 2-point Milford lead. Still a ways to go, 6 minutes left. Long pass swung outside to Montague. He misses, but Peterson with the reach there for the rebound, and he gets fouled. They'll call it on Brendan White. That's just his first foul of the game. And this is just our first free throws for either side in this second half. And Jake Peterson too strong on the first attempt. And Coach Seaver signaling to the student section to make some noise. And the Jungle more than happy to oblige. The stands rocking in Milford as Peterson misses both free throws.
Fans doing their job for that miss right there.
The Milford players love it. Allows them to maintain the 2-point lead. White trying to time his jump, no good. Able to get the rebound. Now Vardaresian from 3, offline. Darling in there, and he's able to wrestle down the rebound, gets it back outside to Perez. And now Sutherland into Darling, and they're going to call the foul against Sutherland.
Seems like that might have been a travel call. Sutherland not happy at all with that. Seems like he might have been on that two-step rule.
It's hard to tell if Coach Seaver was angry at the official or at Sutherland. Either way, the ball back up the floor for North Attleboro. 3, no good. Seavey there for the rebound, and he's going to tie this game back up. 44-44, coming down to 5 minutes to play. White in some trouble, finds Sutherland. Sutherland off the side of the rim, Perez and Darling both go down, and Darling looks to be shaken up. And right now, the North Attleboro players cleared out as the training staff will come out onto the floor. So an injury here, we will take the timeout for the injury with 4:54 to play in the fourth quarter. It is all tied up at 44 here on Milford TV. Set to resume action here. Jordan Darling getting attended to by the training staff. Looked to get a shot to the nose. Was able to come off the floor under his own power and looks to be ready to get back in the game as soon as he gets bandaged up. And meanwhile now, it looks like they're going to bring everyone back off the floor. Perhaps some cleaning needing to be done on the floor. So again, we have 4 minutes and 54 seconds to go. A tied game here. And Nealon, certainly winning time right now. You have the theme from Rocky in the background, almost fitting for this kind of game situation, but really some key moments coming up here. And Milford's done a good job of keeping themselves in it here in the second half, despite a lot of shots not falling from some of their key players here tonight, but they're going to need to pull out their best effort here over these final 5 minutes.
Yep, they've done a very good job. It's a very grinding, grit game for Milford. I think they're doing everything they can. This is a team that has a lot in the bag. It's a bag of tricks. They're not really special in one single thing. They're just good at a lot of things. And sometimes if you just put that all together, then you look for good performances. And other times you might be able to find an area where you can mainly focus on and have a better performance one night than you do the other. And it seems like tonight they're just playing decent in every single area.
Jordan Darling remaining on the sidelines for now. Dom Schofield back out there. That ball going out of play, and the cheerleaders having to duck for cover. North Attleboro will have a chance to inbound. Schofield guarding that inbounds pass, just barely able to get it in. And now Montague, they try to trap him. And Milford will now slink back into their half-court set. 4:42 to go.
Brennan Saylor getting ready to be checked back in.
Vardaresian out there right now. And cutting to the basket, Peterson, and he's able to push North Attleboro back on top. His first points in the second half. Brendan White quickly, 2 defenders close in. Vardaresian from 3, no good. The rebound deflects all the way to Nate Gonsalves. Jordan Darling now joins Saylor at the scorer's table, so waiting for the next opportunity to check back in, as we will tick down under the 4-minute mark, as that ball will slip out of the hands of Freiberg and out. Gives Milford the ball and the opportunity to bring their 2 starters back onto the floor. Schofield and Blanchard will head to the bench. So it is White, Saylor, Perez, Darling, and I beg your pardon, Blanchard will stay out there. Vardarigi and the other heading to the bench. Saylor wanted to put it up from 3, takes a couple of steps inside, now gives away to Darling, who gets the layup. And believe it or not, that's Darling's first points of the second half. Had 6 early points in this game, but then was held quiet from there. But that shot ties the game up at 46, down to 3.5 minutes to play.
Montague.
3-point range. Montague finds it again.
It's been a lot more noticeable in the second half.
Perez, good pass inside, but ends up getting blocked, and I believe that was George Ladd who came in late to get the block. North with the lead and the ball.
Chance to make it a 2-possession game.
Bodies flying to the floor again, under the 3-minute mark. Gonsalves, the 3-point attempt no good, but Freiberg able to fight for the rebound. And now the officials stop play. 2:51 to go.
North Attleboro is going to take a timeout. That was a very confusing play. I'm not actually 100% sure what just happened.
It was very unclear what the call was. One of the officials going to the scorer's table. They were going to have North Attleboro inbound with 9 seconds on the shot clock, and the head coach for North Attleboro, Sean Mulker, is taking some time to talk it over with his team, again with 2 minutes and 51 seconds to go. We'll take a very quick timeout here. Much more to come next here on Milford TV. Two minutes and 51 seconds left. North Attleboro with a 3-point lead. They have 9 seconds on the shot clock as they send this ball back in play. Montague to Gonsalves, now Ladd open. Drives in, leaves it for Freiberg. Freiberg no good. Peterson with the rebound, gets the shot and the foul. A crucial play. Milford's defense holding strong, but able to get the rebound was Peterson, and now a chance to make it 3. Brendan White called for his second foul. Peterson, that's his 4th miss from the line. He's 0 for 4. A 5-point deficit for the Scarlet Hawks as Brendan White is fouled on the way up to the basket. And again, this is just Milford's 3rd trip to the line in the game. They are 3 for 4, but free throws have been anything but automatic for the Scarlet Hawks this season, and for Brendan White in particular. And you see it there as he misses the first.
Looking to make the second shot.
And 0 for 2 at the line. Crucial misses for White.
Milford's going to want to get a stop fast.
The North Attleboro lead is 5, 2:22 left on the clock.
Any points by North Attleboro in this amount of time might be lethal. Trying to put that game to rest for the...
And Saylor knocks the ball loose, gets tangled up with Montague in the end, and they will call the foul on Brendan Saylor.
It's 4 on Saylor.
And you can see Coach Seaver, that time there was no question who he was more angry at. He did not think that was a wise play from his point guard, who picks up his 4th foul and gives North Attleboro a fresh shot clock. The ball momentarily jarred loose. Now Darling with the block, a big play on defense.
His hand did not leave that ball on that shot for Darling. That's going to be a kick ball.
Saylor trying to thread that no-look pass to Brendan White, but kicked out of play. 1 minute and 59 seconds left. Milford cannot afford empty trips up the floor. Off the inbounds, and it's Knocked down by Colby Perez. 4 points in this fourth quarter for Perez. Now Montague with one man to beat. Finds Freeberg, but the block. Milford, another huge defensive play. Down by 3 with the ball, 1:40 to go. Here's Corsini from 3, it's off the side of the rim. Darling gets the rebound and puts it back to cut it to a 1-point deficit as timeout is called. Jordan Darling getting knocked in the face earlier in this fourth quarter. The bandage on the nose, but he's come through on the defensive side of the floor and now on the offensive side of the floor, Nealon, to cut this to just a 1-point game.
Just that possession alone was wonderful. Montague bringing up the ball on a 4-on-1 break for North Attleboro, and out of nowhere, White's able to block the ball against the side of the hoop, bring up the court, and Darling finding a very good offensive rebound to bring it to a 1-point game. Very impressive, very impressive.
You mentioned it, Milford at a point in this game of desperation where they really could not afford to fall any further behind. In 2 trips up the floor, they were able to get key blocks to deny North Attleboro baskets. Their defense coming up huge, and it translates into some clutch buckets, but still more work to do with a 1-point deficit and 93 seconds left on the clock. Milford comes back out of the timeout with White, Saylor, Corsini, Perez, and Darling. Brendan Saylor with 4 fouls. And North Attleboro set to send the ball back in play. Ladd with inbounds duties. Milford has Jordan Darling back deep, everyone else ready to apply pressure. And a clean pass in and then back into the hands of Peterson. Montague now. One-on-one against Saylor. 16 seconds on the shot clock. Montague inside, gets smothered by Darling. Could not get much on that shot. Milford pulls down the rebound, and as we tick down to the 1-minute mark, Milford still with that 1-point deficit, but the ball in their hands. Here's Perez now, contested 3, rims out, and Freiberg able to outmuscle Perez for the rebound. Now 48 seconds left, still a 51-50 North Attleboro lead. Milford needs another defensive stand.
White playing very tight defense on Gonsalves. Corsini almost able to steal it from Ladd, and instead he's going to get the foul called on him.
He sold out for it.
And Milford's going to really not want to hope for fouls. Saylor's got 4, and North Attleboro's only got 4 fouls against them.
And neither side in the penalty. So some intense conversations now with these two coaches. Coach Seaver on the Milford side, Coach Mulkerins for North Attleboro, trying to get their teams ready for the final 38.6 seconds of this game. What a game and what a finish on tap here. One more break and we'll have the conclusion of this contest between Milford and North Attleboro right after this on Milford TV. An absolutely fabulous basketball game here tonight between Milford and North Attleboro. It all comes down to the final 38 seconds. North hanging on to that 1-point lead. White couldn't get the steal off the inbounds. And now Montague gets some contact on the way up for the shot. And perhaps a little embellishment after the fact. The 6th foul on Milford. Brendan White picking up the foul. He's picked up 3 quick fouls here in the 4th quarter. They loop it into Freiberg. Gets tangled up, now out on the perimeter, and Coach Mulkerins calls the timeout. Stops the clock with 27.8 seconds to go, 26 seconds on the shot clock for North Attleboro. So a real crucial situation here yet again, Neil, and I feel like a broken record saying that, but really just a second difference between shot clock and game clock. North Attleboro with the opportunity to wind that clock down. Milford we'll have to see how they play it here if they're going to start to foul.
Yep, Seaver's got two decisions. He can either hope for an early shot and have a little bit more than 2 seconds left on the clock, or foul early and hope for a miss from the free throw line. There's only a little bit under 2 seconds between the difference of a shot clock and game clock. And with a 1-point lead, you're either looking at a last-second three-point shot or maybe a chance to tie the game. So fouling might not be the best decision, but it might be the most necessary. I'd give it a little bit. I'd let the inbound happen, maybe give it 5 or 10 more seconds, see if you can steal the ball, because obviously a turnover would be more impactful than a foul. You also got to make sure that Saylor or White does not pick up the foul. Those are the guys you want taking the last shot.
Same 5 out there for the Scarlet Hawks. Freiberg on inbounds duties. Pires doing a good job guarding. They were able to get it into Ladd. Milford nearly got a hand on it. They immediately commit the foul, and they send George Ladd to the free throw line. Ladd tonight 1 for 2.
Schofield's going to step in for Corsini.
We've seen the student section play a role in these North Attleboro free throws tonight.
Seaver's going to need as much noise as he could possibly get from this fan section.
The decibel levels up as Ladd misses the shot, but Gonsalves able to track down the rebound. Milford got exactly what they wanted, but just bad luck on the bounce. And finally, Milford commits the foul, but lets precious seconds tick off the clock.
And that's gotta hurt.
Darling ends up committing the foul. It's his first. Milford over the limit now. Gonsalves his first trip to the line tonight.
And he silences that Milford crowd.
A 2-point North Attleboro lead, one more free throw to go. And able to make them both. Still a 1-possession game, but a 3-point deficit for Milford with just 18 seconds left to work with. And the Hawks advance the ball, and then Coach Seaver calls for the timeout. Milford running out of options, running out of time. North Attleboro now with a 3-point advantage. And Nealon, what do you expect to see coming out of this timeout?
Well, I mean, they're going to have to look for a 3-point shot. I think that's about as obvious as it gets. Depends on how early you want to shoot it. It's probably going to be a lot of time killing, trying to figure out how to utilize the screen. It's going to be tough. I can't really predict it. It's more of who you want to get the ball into whose hands.
And ordinarily, you would say you want it in the hands of Brendan White or Brendan Saylor. White with 8 points on the night. He's been relatively quiet. Saylor with 8 points also. You have to wonder if you'd maybe see Ben Blanchard come back out on the floor, and that's absolutely what you're going to see. Blanchard out there. He's been their best 3-point shooter tonight. They get Danny Corsini out there as well. So arguably the 2 best 3-point shooters on the team out there right now. They keep Colby Pires on the bench. It'll be White to inbound.
Here we go.
And into Saylor, 15 seconds left. Milford needs a 3 to tie. Corsini doesn't see anything open up. 8 seconds left. Saylor hoists it up, no good. Brendan White gets the rebound, but 2 points isn't going to do it. 53-52 with just 3.2 seconds to go.
I don't know if that was the best shot right there, Tim.
It seemed like Saylor rushed it.
Saylor rushing that shot and Brendan White going up for that putback. He had the left wing wide open. Glenn Blanchard was looking for the ball in his hands as those seconds tick down. Now you got 3.2 seconds left. North Attleboro is going to be inbound in the ball. They're going to want to get as quick of a foul as they possibly can, try to spare as much time as they possibly can. And this is going to be very interesting to see. Blanchard's going to be sitting on the bench.
Perez back out there. And just waiting on North Attleboro to retake the floor now. Freiberg, quick inbounds to Gonsalves, and Corsini able to get the foul. Stops the clock with 2 seconds left.
You got lucky on that foul right there. Corsini unable to get there. A millisecond later, that ball would have been up the court to Montague.
And for Milford, possibly hoping that North Attleboro missed those free throws. Instead, it leaves Colby Perez to have to toss up an off-balance contested shot, and that is that. A heartbreaking defeat in the end for the Scarlet Hawks as they fall to North Attleboro by a final score of 53-52. This was a tied game through much of this fourth quarter. Milford with some key defensive plays, but in the end, North Attleboro able to do just enough to hand Milford their third straight loss. So a disappointing end, Nealon, to what was overall an outstanding basketball game.
Very impressive game from both sides, but North Attleboro able to just pull it off in those closing seconds.
And so that will wrap up our coverage here tonight. The boys will be back home next Tuesday trying to shake off this losing streak against Taunton. That is when we will be with you next. But in the meantime, a big thank you to our Milford TV crew on hand for the game here tonight, our director, Rob O'Keefe, and our camera operators, Scott Crisafulli and Malcolm Zale. And Nealon Reisman, great to have you back for this game here tonight. We look forward to hearing from you again. He heads back to Suffolk University for the next semester there. And I am Tim Coette. That final score, one final time tonight, Milford falls to North Attleboro by a final score of 53-52. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.